Hey, welcome to KWI on the Couch. Today I'm joined with Darren Arrasmith. Darren, thanks for joining us today. Graduating out of KWI, let's start off with certs. How many certs did you roll out of here with?
I'm pretty sure it was 8.
8, okay. And a golden arm hood
Yes,
on
sir.
top of that? So what does the golden arm hood mean? You get 6 certs and then you can do whatever you want?
Right, you get your 6 certs that are in the KWI curriculum, and then you choose your extra cert, and they allow that to be whatever. If you want your branch and bell hoe, or ink and nail, or a copper nickel monster, or if you want to go do anything, they offer up to 20 plus different certs. So whatever you want to make it is what's your golden arm. What cert you want to mean the most for you is what's your golden arm.
Okay.
How you get your golden arm.
So different parts of the curriculum, and as you know, and others out there may know, we don't ever hold you back. How long did it take you to finish our Flux core curriculum?
I got off of it in 14 hours. I actually, when we had our orientation, I asked you what the record was, and you said like 3 to 4 days, and I had a little experience flux coring, so I walked in there and I was like, I'm gonna set this record, and I was there for like 16. My first day I pulled a 20-hour shift. I was there, or no, that's the second day. My first day I pulled a 16. The second day I pulled a 20-hour shift. And I walked in there and set it in 14 hours, and then went on to MIG, and I was on the stick, and I was on stick on the second day. So.
Okay. So when you say you're getting off of something, does that mean you're quick and hurry and you don't care, or did you have to prove you were good? Any bend test involved during that 14-hour Flux core curriculum?
Yeah, there was multiple bend tests. You have to pass visual, and then you bend them, and I think there's five tests you have to do for Flux, maybe 6.
Okay. So moving on out of Flux core, you jumped right into stick welding, as you mentioned. What all did you have to do for the stick welding portion of the curriculum?
You got to do a 3/8 with a backer. You got to pad on an X plate, and then do 3/8 on a backing plate with 3 and 4G, and then after that you go to open root on all 4 positions, 1, 2, 3, and 4G, and then after that you run your practice test you get ready on 3/8, and then once you do that, you do a blue sheet on that, make sure you can do it, and then you do you go to 1-inch stick open root, and you get good at that, and then you take your 1-inch stick test.
Okay. So you mentioned blue sheet. That's what KWI calls it. It's practice test.
Right.
It gets you used to stopping at all the hold points, looking at your root, looking at your fill, your cap, all the visual inspections, and it's timed as well. But when you get to that AWS certification, is it your instructor that's going to certify you?
No, it's not going to be your instructor. It's going to be a KWI, and they're going to hold you to the code. It don't matter if you're lacking. If you got a little bit of undercut or anything, you got trapped. I mean, your root has a little flaw in it or anything. It's a KWI, and they test you to code. There ain't no letting it slide.
Okay.
Have buddy feelings for you or nothing. They do it just like a job. You you run your root, get them to bite off. They check your fill and they check your cap, or they check your fit up, your root, and then you fill it out, and they check your fill, and then you cap it. So I mean, it's 100% real deal.
Okay, that's good, and that's what it should be, because KWI is trying to get you ready for the job. So how long did it take you for stick weld? Do you have any ideals?
I think it was roughly around a week, because I had a little experience stick welding 1-inch, but the overhead open root kind of stuck me for a couple of days.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that'll separate the good from the bad, so
Right.
to speak. All right. So moving out of stick weld, you start TIG welding. Which side of the plate did you start on, or do you start in the middle of the plate and work it with both hands?
Yeah, and I've got asked that question a lot about people like wanting to be a welder, and they're like, well, I can't weld with both hands. But that's one thing KWI has helped me with is if you do start on plate, you run that first half right-handed, and then you run the other half left-handed. You work both hands in.
Okay. So you transition out of plate into pipe. I'm sure there's a lot of people, watching it, maybe a 6-month program, and they're starting to add up what you've done on their hand here. You'd welded before in high school. So how much emphasis coming to KWI, what did you want to get out of this? Were you just looking for a huge number of certifications, or what did you really want to get coming into KWI?
I guess enough that I felt comfortable enough that I could go out into into the real world and get a job and not look clueless and actually know what I'm doing and just basically get my feet wet, get in there, know people, and have the knowledge of welding to do whatever I needed to do, you know.
Okay. So you finished that pipe curriculum, you got a bunch of certifications. Probably could have walked out of here with a record number of certifications, but you didn't. You chose to get better at things that were going to help you in the industry. So fill us in on some of the simulators and some of the things that KWI has to offer.
Well, KWI actually has a simulator. It's a boiler simulator, and me and my buddy Jaden Argo was getting used to cutting out one singular tubes or 5-packs, and you got to watch on the job. They won't let you like cut into other tubes, so you'd have to watch cutting the membrane and watch cutting into if you're doing a singular tube, you can't nick the tube beside you, or because it's a pretty big deal. But and then we have like the 2-post and 4-post. Like we're about to go take a test for a job. That's a 2-post simulator. That's a combo monster, and I'm glad I got some work with it, because when I first started it, I was nervous. You know what I mean? It was kind of hard to learn, but I'm glad I got it down. And then also in that boiler simulator, there's some tight spots in there, and I got to mess around with a mirror, you know, mirror welding, and welding, looking through the bevel, putting the root in, which was pretty tough to learn, and I still ain't the best at it, but I've pretty much got it down for the most part. But mirror welding was tough to learn too, because you got to learn how far you are away, and everything's backwards.
The depth perception messes with you a little bit there, right? So the instructors, they jump right in there and help you out and give you the tips and pointers, making sure you don't get foreign material in the tubes, or just kind of figuring this all out on your own?
No, 100%. They helped me through and through with everything I needed.
Okay, good deal. Ever wear a harness in the boiler? I mean, is it that real? Can you get in the boiler? Is it that big? Can you do that?
Yeah, I mean, I wore harnesses, hard hat, everything.
Okay, so got you ready for the real job. You started KWI as a welder. You came through. Now you're ready for the job. What got you into welding? You know, even before KWI, what type of welding and what kind of things were you involved in?
Well, I was kind of wilder in my younger days. I didn't really make the best decisions, and I was hanging around a rough crowd and wasn't always doing what was right. And then I kind of got into high school, and my welding instructor in high school kind of just like led me in the right way, and I got in there. And my sophomore year, I got to mess around with welding, and I knew that's what I wanted to do because I loved it, and I was still kind of wild, you know. And then my junior year rolled around, and I was like, I got to mess around when I was younger with like heavy equipment operation, carpentry, farming, landscaping. I pumped porta potties and septic maintenance, you know what I mean? I pretty much did it all, like as far as hands-on work, and then I was like, man, welding really clicks for me. So then in high school, I decided to straighten up, put the wilder days behind me. And, you know, I've seen the way my dad, I mean, in and out of jail, you know what I mean, on drugs, and you'll see a lot of welders like that. And I just decided that wasn't going to be the life I wanted to live. So I wanted the good benefits of welding as the good money, and but I was going to be smart about it. Right. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, that's good advice for young people. Because in this day and age, it's so easy to open your phone and turn on YouTube, and you got the glamorous lifestyle of the road that's maybe more traveled, and it's going down a rocky path. And so you went down that road a little bit, but you turned around and got yourself straightened out. And I'm proud of you for that.
All right, I appreciate it.
And I think it's some of the things that you mentioned and some of the jobs that you had, like you weren't afraid to work, obviously, if you're going to be running heavy equipment and do all the different things and get your feet dirty and your hands wet, you know, working at other jobs.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like people coming into, I'm just going to say welding's not easy, you know what I mean? It ain't for everybody, and I guess it's just like anything. I feel like you need to get out there while you're young and get some experience and some other work just to make sure that you're not going to go into something that you don't want to do, you know what I mean? So like just make sure you get out there and test everything, go work for this guy, because you never know where you're going to end up, or that guy might be your boss one day. So just get out there and meet people and work a bunch of different jobs and make sure that what you want to do is what you want to do for life. Be happy doing it.
That's right. It's true. You know, I've always said if you're not happy doing what you're doing, you ought to think about doing something else.
Right.
You know, and
life's too short, ain't it?
It is. You know, I grew up on a farm, and hard work was instilled into us, you know, growing up milking cows and working on the farm. And I think that's true about welding. You got to earn it, you got to work hard, but you can really reap a reward. what if you hit a job and you're planning on an easy 40-hour week, and all of a sudden it's, Monday morning, and they say, hey, we're working 16-hour days, 7 days a week right now because we're shorthanded. You going to get mad and leave, or you going to what?
Right, I don't know. I would never turn down no money. I mean, me and my buddy Jaden was working in the summertime of going in from our junior year to our senior year. We was working 70, 80 hours a week as kids pretty much. So I don't think jumping. And that might be a problem for kids in high school now is the hours. They're used to working at the Dairy Queen or the Arby's, and my challenge to them would be to get out there and get a manual labor job to get used to working like that. You know what I mean? And putting in them hours and challenge yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
Me and Jaden was doing that as kids, so I think whenever we get out here, we'll be able to work just alongside of a 30-year-old man, just like it was meant to be.
Right. When you said challenge yourself, when you drop down that hood, the puddle you're looking at is not much bigger than a pencil eraser, and it's just you and the weld. You've always got to challenge yourself to make the best weld that you can make in that given situation. You ever find yourself doing anything like that, just you and nobody else around and watching, you just welding?
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's always important that you always strive your best. The first person that's going to see your weld, the first person that's the QC, is who?
It's you, 100%.
It is.
You're your first QC. If you see something that you don't like with it, cut it back out and fix it. You know what I mean? If you think that's going to cause you your job, or if that's going to cause you to bust your test and if you don't like it, cut it out and fix it, because anything's fixable.
Okay. So we know you worked your tail off, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with paying for your KWI. But what other ways or what other avenues of funding did you find that helped you pay your tuition here at KWI?
And this goes back to working for a bunch of different people. I got involved in a lot of different jobs in my community. I met a lot of good people from my hometown, and they known me as a bad kid, and then I started working and doing good, and I changed my life around and got in there with some good people, and they started spreading my name around, and all these scholarship communities started hearing about me, and I applied for every scholarship I could to go to KWI. And a lot of people in my hometown would rather see a young student go to a trade school to go straight into work, in a short amount of time versus somebody going to a university, just because maybe you're going to be generating money back into your hometown, and
right.
You know what I mean? So but I actually come out with over 20 grand, more than what the school cost in scholarships. So I was freaking out and praying about my money, how I was going to get to school, and I was questioning am I going to be able to go or not? So I was going to go no matter what. I was going to go take out a loan, but luckily enough, I was blessed that I got $5,500 from Micro, but I had to do 3 to 4 500-word essays, upload a video to YouTube. The FFA loan or FFA scholarship, an AWS. Let's see.
So on that Mike Rowe scholarship you mentioned, that's pretty awesome. I'm a huge fan of Mike's. He is a huge proponent of skilled trades in America. So that's the Mike Rowe Work Ethic Scholarship.
Right.
And you're a welder, but now you got to write essays and things to try to earn that?
Yeah, and you got to sign the sweat pledge. It's 10 rules basically saying that you're going to be a hard-working person. I forget it word to word, but it's basically if everybody in America signed the sweat pledge, it'd be a completely different ballgame.
Well, there you go. So I guess real quick, if you had to say, 2 words to Mike Rowe, what would you say to Mike Rowe for helping you out with this?
I would definitely say thank you, and just tell him how much it helped me, and that him giving me that money is probably going to help out somebody else down the road. So.
Yeah, for sure. Now then you mentioned the FFA contest. Now, is FFA and Skills USA, are they based on writing an essay, or what do you have to do to earn some scholarships there?
That's actually a welding scholarship. We had to go my senior year, I forget. Well, actually both my junior year I competed in skills, and I got second in the state, and I got some scholarship money there, and then we went up to Louisville and competed up there, and we took home, I got second up there, but our team overall took home first. My buddy got high individual, and we took home first place in that too.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of local small businesses that want to help out a lot of students in small towns. And a lot of times I hear, well, that it's always going to be the guy going to the quote top-notch college school that's going to suck up all these little $500,000 scholarships. Did you apply for any of those?
I applied for every one of them.
Oh, everything, yeah.
I applied for them all.
So, on awards night, the awards night at your high school, was the welders called up very often to get scholarships from your hometown?
I think 9 of my buddies that graduated with us out of the graduating class of the 22, 9 of us generated in over $100 or $110,000 in scholarships.
That's pretty awesome for a little small town. And when you got community money backing you, and then you've got national money like American Welding Society and organizations like Mike Rowe Work Ethic Scholarship, that's huge to help you pay for your tuition and get an education so you can go out and start giving back. Have you thought about anything that you're going to want to do? Once you start drawing them big paychecks that we know you're going to get, is it a big jacked up chrome truck and a $100,000 camper, or what's your plans?
Man, when I was younger, I was into the lift and into the wheels, and a new truck. I always was like, man, I can't wait. But honestly, I think financial freedom is freedom. All these guys that run out here and get a brand new truck and a brand new camper, they're looking at $1,000 a month truck payment, and they're looking at like $1,500, $1,600, maybe $2,000 a month and payments for something that the bank owns, when you can go out here and I drive a 97 Dodge. I had the motor rebuilt, and I drive it to Texas. The truck's older than me, but I'm not going to buy a new truck for a while. I probably won't ever own a new truck. I'll probably just keep upgrading. With this. Nothing brand new. And the camper that I'm looking to buy is a 2009. It ain't nothing that's $40,000. So.
So as long as the truck gets you there, and if you want a camper or you want to choose a hotel, as long as you feel comfortable where you're at, you don't need all this fancy stuff. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Right. It don't matter. At the end of the day, who cares what you drive? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if a guy pulls up in a nice truck and big chrome wheels, I'll tell him that's nice, but I'm gonna walk off and I'm gonna jump in my old truck and have more money in the bank than that guy, or just have money for myself. You know what I mean? Don't have to dish out all that. So. Yeah.
Well, hey, in one more year, I've been driving the same truck for 30 years. So keep that 97 Dodge, because
right.
in about 5-6 more years, there you go. You keep a good truck, something you can work on, not all computerized.
Right.
Still run on fossil fuels. That's going to be good.
Oh yeah.
It'll be a classic before too much longer. Coming in there with all these new electronic vehicles. Looking forward, what's your plans? I'm sure you want to make money, you want to hit some jobs, but if one job could come up, your dream job, what would it be?
I haven't really even thought about it, man. I've been so fed up with a goal to make it my whole life. I haven't got out there. I guess I would have to get back with you on that one, and when I get out there and actually see for myself, because I don't know if I want to end up in a refinery for my whole life, or doing boiler work, or doing pipe jobs, or or doing it. I just have to figure it out. I don't know. I'm gonna do it all. Figure it out.
Okay. So for a 19-year-old kid who's graduated high school, and now you've graduated your welding school and you're fixing to hit the road, it's not going to be that easy making that first paycheck. You're going to have a little bit of money in the bank to get you there and back. What about renting a hotel? Is that going to be challenging?
Yeah, I'd say so. I got lucky on this job, and my buddy's going up there, and I'm going to stay in his camper with him. But I had to, actually for KWI, I went down to Louisville to get my TWIC card, and we was going to stay in a hotel up there, and they actually wouldn't let me in because I couldn't do a reservation because I was 18.
Okay, that's
you know what I mean?
Going.
So, at the end of the day, you might be better off to save up and get you a $10,000 camper so you don't have to worry about having somebody lease sign for you, you know what I mean, when you're out there on the road by yourself, because I couldn't even get a hotel to go get my card, so we just drove it in 2 hours.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't realize that a lot of motels won't take the reservation if you are underage. You can go to battle and you can defend our country, but you can't rent a hotel room in this country. So,
right.
So maybe some things need to change there. a little bit, but there's ways around that. You can use a parent or a guardian or somebody to get you that hotel for a time or two until you can get your credit or membership up and help you out with some of those different
And I went
things.
through that actually. I called my stepdad, I asked the lady, I was like, can I have my parents' call or use their card or whatever, and they still wouldn't let me because you have to be 21 checking into there. You know what I mean? So, and hell, I won't be 21 for another 3 years, so.
Right.
I think I'm just going to try to camper it and maybe find hotels that let me in, but just come back home, buy a camper, and roll back out.
There you go. Well, we're going to close you out here. It's been awesome talking to you today. I know you need to get out there and get some more money in your bank. Thank you guys for watching, and this has been KWI on the Couch with Ashley and Darren.